fraternity prank. Also, the Pope decided today to release Vatican-related bath products. An incredible thing. Yes, it's the new Pope on a rope. It's right, Pope on a rope. Wash with it, go straight to heaven. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Bill Roach, and we're going to make a very quick video because we have special news. NAGA has updated their transgender policy. And this is important because we gave a previous episode in which we talked about how they were catering to the transgender movement and they were allowing biological men to compete against biological women. But it was much more than that. They weren't just allowing them to compete with one another. They weren't even informing the women about what was going on. So what I want to do is briefly discuss this so that we can understand just the latest on this particular issue. Now, some people are probably wondering, why are you talking about this with NAGA and not anything else? Well, the main reason is because, well, it's one of the top issues that are going on. It's working its way into a new sport, and it's a sport that I actually engage in. But more than that, I engage with these topics in a variety of areas. So this is really just sort of the continuation of our long march of dealing with how critical theory is affecting the West and the United States and society at large. So with that, I'm going to transition here and quickly look at just a couple of things that we've seen here. And the first one is this, is it came out from Riley Gaines. And again, Riley Gaines is the female swimmer who's really been protesting this to a great degree. And with the end goal of trying to have true equality, not equity. Equity is Marxism. Equality is actual being fair for each person in that regard on all of these different sporting issues. And she says this, it took NAGA, the North American Grappling Association, only 21 hours after this exclusive piece was published exposing their discriminatory policies before they changed them to prioritize fairness and protect women. The effectiveness of boycotts and using your voice is real. And she's precisely right on this. The reality is that you have a voice and you should use your voice. We live in a world that has First Amendment rights. You live in a world in which you can use your effective boycotts for their chief end. And I think what we have to realize is that unless, NAGA comes to grips with this, they're going to suffer from the Bud Light effect. I think Bud Light and the Dylan Mulvaney event truly awakened a whole host of people to, oh my goodness, our base, our constituency will not fall for this. And I think that's what they need to realize. Like the jiu-jitsu community, the grappling community, by and large, they're not favorable to this, as I think are most Americans. They're not favorable to this, but we're having to deal with it. But let's continue looking here. If we break this in and we go to the Reddick's thing, they say this, in response to Reddick's exclusive report yesterday, the North American Grappling Association has issued a full policy revision of which we cheer them on. We are thankful for you. It says this, trans-identified males will now have to compete in the men's category. The female category will be exclusively for women. So let's just switch over here and let's look at what their policy is. And this is the revision and the revised form of it. And it says NAGA transgender athlete policy revised 10/28/2023. It says we as an organization strive to ensure fairness, inclusivity. Guys, you still didn't fix this. Remember, diversity is training critical consciousness. Inclusion or inclusivity is only including those trained and who buy into critical consciousness. That right there just lets me know you're still thinking according to the major categories of critical gender theory. Sorry, it's just the way it is. So we'll just accept it for a second. Fairness, inclusivity, and respect for all competitors within our events. With regards to transgender females competing in NAGA, the following policy shall be implemented. Division for cisgender females. We will have divisions for only cisgender females. Transgender females will not be entered into these divisions. Division options for transgender females. Transgender females must compete in the men's division. We hope that the simplicity of this revised policy will help to avoid any future occurrence where transgender females enter women's divisions. If NAGA staff is informed that a transgender female is in a women's division, they will be given the choice to go to the men's division or given a refund. Why don't you just disqualify them from the entire tournament? So a few things that I look at as I'm just evaluating this, trying to help these people along. This is sort of an area that I look at here. First of all, you're using the language of the left in order to appease the left. You have to use the language that refutes the left in order to not appease the left. in addition to this, and I know that this is controversial, but hey, everything in this world is controversial today. Why do we even buy the categories of cisgender, transgender? You've got men and women. Let's let reality work its course here. In fact, what we find is the simplicity of this policy really just means living according to the reality that we've already seen in this world. But I want to do just a little bit more. I want to make this really quick. I want us to use this as an example for something. In many respects, I'm speaking to people who are having to engage on this topic. What I want you to see is this, is that people will try you, people will press against you, people will try to see if you're going to follow or fall for their struggle sessions. And struggle sessions go back to totalitarian regimes in which they get you to buy into the ideology or else. And what typically happens is this, is that if you ever apologize or appease or somehow give up to the woke, they'll use that for the rest of your life. Now, if you do what's almost become like the Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney event, what you find is you get put in this weird situation. You lose your base. You utterly, completely lose your base because in general, they don't want to deal with it. So then you're losing funds in that sense. So you're going to have gyms that are going to lose money because of this, because they're not going to want to deal with it. You're going to have competitions that are going to lose money because they don't want to deal with this. That's the base of the jiu-jitsu community. But here's the other issue. You haven't really faced the terror of the woke yet on this. If you give in to them once, they know that they can break you. So what they're going to do, mark my words, this is what's going to happen. They're going to bring a whole mob of people on social media, coming to tournaments, doing all of these different things, really Alinsky's rules for radicals, in order to force them to bend over and take it again. Or they're going to bend their backs again in order to take this. Why? Because all that matters for this movement is ideology. So just know this, if you would have stood up the first time, you wouldn't have had to deal with what is going to be coming upon you in the near future. Because it's as simple as we said, if you stand your ground the first time, it's a lot easier to stand it the second time. If you stand your ground the first time, they most likely don't bring the mob afterwards. It's just the way that these organizations work. If they can't get you with one, they bring 500 into the whole conversation. But I think it also is a warning to many gym owners. Like I've said before, gym owners, you're going to have to think about this. This is something that you're going to have to deal with when you send your people off to competition. Are you going to allow sort of the simulacrity, the fake world, the Narnia land, or the fake world that they live in to dictate how you're going to, engage with your competitors or not? And I would just tell you, just don't buy into it. Do not even fall for it. Just draw a line in the sand. But another issue that gym owners are going to face is this. This movement is now going to set its sights upon jiu-jitsu. And people say, well, why would they ever set their sights on jiu-jitsu? Well, let's think of another example. The Charlotte, North Carolina bathroom bill. When they said, nope, we're not going to do this, they made it a point of action to get these people in Charlotte, North Carolina and broader North Carolina to change their policy on it. Again, it's a Marxist revolution, and that's all that matters in a Marxist revolution. So what are gym owners going to have to do? You're going to have to realize that your base is overwhelmingly not in favor of this. And if you try to bring this into your gym and have like your little cisgender, transgender, whatever special class with it, and you recognize it and you validate it, you will have a large number of people leave your schools, period. But if you don't bring it in to some degree, you're going to have people leave your schools. And they're not just going to leave. They're going to do exactly what all of the woke leftists do. They're going to scream and they're going to yell and they're going to throw a fit. But this is what you need to do with it. What you need to do is you need to know that it's going to happen. You need to expect that kind of manipulation, and you don't fall for it. Let them leave. You will not have any significant consequences on your individual gym if you affirm reality. Why? Because reality is that which corresponds to the way the world actually operates. So again, I wanted to make this quick video. It's an update. I congratulate you, NAGA. I think you're moving in the right direction. Your language is going to leave you, in many respects, a sitting duck for more critical theory coming in. I think you also need to realize that you're going to have a lot more pushback on this than you think, because now they're going to set the target on you. Just be prepared. Stand strong. You're jiu-jitsu fighters. Come on, deal with it. We're fighters. Fight for that which is right, not for that which is ideology in this regard. But I wanted to do this just so that we can see that this conversation proves if you use your voice and you stand up against these movements, you can see significant changes, whether it's in a sporting activity, in the school room, school board in this regard, with teachers and your job and so forth. Again, as James Lindsay has so wonderfully said, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I see. I know that manipulation, it doesn't work on me. Call out their manipulations. Break sort of the spell that's been put on you to not want to speak out. Because remember, there are two ways that they can silence you. They can just outright censor you. But have you noticed they don't do that to the vast majority of people? Rather, they use fear and intimidation and all of these other things so that you self-censor. But whether you censor or self-censor, you are still coming to the same conclusion. You are censored. So the jiu-jitsu community needs to fight now, and it needs to fight hard, lest we get censored by critical theory in its full forms, with its mobs and with its tyranny and its authoritarianism and all. So again, think for yourself, know what's going on here, stay informed.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
You like me because of my sister.
Oh, I like you because you're honest. Because you're shorter than I am. You look like a before and after picture. Now, come on.